Welcome, we're live for this week's episode of Propy's weekly webinar. Today I have guest Joe Curtis, the Chief Operating Officer of the Pango Group, and Travis Breton, the founder or broker owner of Rise Realty. And today you're going to learn a little about the current title escrow landscape, the shift in title escrow influenced by blockchain technology, and how to generate more revenue through better partnerships. So Joe, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Pango Group for our audience?
Sure. Thanks, Joe. Super excited to be here with Propy. And so, yeah, my name's Joe Curtis. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Pango Group. The Pango Group is a settlement services business. We operate all over California. Our primary office locations are in Southern California. And you'd know us most through our Glen Oaks Escrow brand. We operate a couple other brands. We have about 300 employees and close to 20 offices in Southern California. So our business is escrow. And so we're a settlement services provider. And we've recently, in the last couple of years, gotten into helping buyers facilitate transactions using Bitcoin as a form of payment in real estate transactions. So we've done a couple of those. Well, more than a couple. We closed a couple this week, but it's been an exciting space to be in, and we like to be on the leading edge of some of the newest technologies that are out there. But excited to be here. And
for our audience, Joe will give us a little insight into a couple of the crypto transactions that Pango Group has concluded with this week. Our other guest is Travis Breton, broker owner of Rise Realty. And Travis, I understand your brokerage is 100% commission real estate firm.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself and the brokerage.
So we are a 100% commission model. We just charge a small transaction fee per closing. It's an online style brokerage. So we do operate throughout Southern California and actually starting to get into some of the northern markets now as well, just as the name grows. So yeah, it's a great model. I've been working this model for at least the past decade, and we've been around for about going on 8 years now.
And I also noticed you have experience in the boom and bust Vegas previously, right?
Yep. So I was originally licensed in 2003, and I started my career in Las Vegas, and did very well out there. Experienced some real good market volatility. So that was a great learning experience. Wasn't pleasant during the time, but we did learn a lot during that experience, and I carry that through now.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you to our guest. And if you're just joining us, this is Propy's weekly webinar, where we're going to talk a little bit about title escrow and affiliated services. And I am Joe Badelli, your host, Chief Revenue Officer here at Propy. And along with me is my co-host, Gwyneth Iredale, our Senior Customer Success Manager.
Thanks for sitting in on this. I'm excited about the webinar today.
So Joe, let's talk a little bit about growing an escrow office, especially here in California, because California is a little bit harder to get set up with escrow as in many other states. And you're now over 300 employees. Where are you looking to grow now? One, how did you get there efficiently, and where are you looking to expand next?
So I would say, well, we have a lot of fun growth opportunities, I think, ahead of us. Just with the market. The market, as everybody knows, is crazy. We're a California-based company, and the landscape in real estate across the nation is different. So I would say you have a settlement services, and so settlement kind of falls into two categories. The first is title, which provides the insurance policy on a home, and a lot of people are familiar with title insurance. And then you have settlement or escrow, which helps facilitate like the actual closing and the transfer of title and making sure that everybody kind of gets paid out. And so in California, and especially in Southern California, it's divided into two, where you have independent escrow companies and you have title companies. And so they do two different functions. In a lot of places in the country, those two functions are combined. Like on the East Coast, attorneys will be the title agent and the settlement provider. You know, in Texas, you have closing companies where you have a title company that runs closing. So in California, it's a little bit of a different market in terms of having the title insurer or the title agent separate from the escrow company that does the settlement. And so we're really focused on California. The growth in California has been unprecedented in the last 12 months. It's been a pretty crazy ride, but we're excited to participate in this market, and we're looking for expansion opportunities with partners. I think one of the big trends that we've seen over the last 10 years is this move towards brokers getting into the escrow business in California. Or looking at affiliate partnerships or JV partnerships. And so I think that's going to be a big area of growth, not only for us, but for brokers coming in the next couple of years.
And does Pango Group offer such partnerships to brokers looking to expand in that area?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of our core, we've been doing JV partnerships for, it has now been 21 years. We did our first one 21 years ago, 2000 is when we signed the deal. And we are working with several large brokers in California. And so when you want to run an escrow company, it's very different running a brokerage than it is to run an escrow company. And so we come in as a partner to help on the operational side of that. And so there's lots of opportunities there.
So I know I was going to wait a little bit later into today's episode to talk about crypto and blockchain, but that's what we're known for. So I know the market in title and escrow has been changing. There's a lot of platforms coming in. There's a lot of streamlining going on. I know you recently had a partnership with Qualia as well.
Yep.
But more importantly, every time we start down a crypto transaction discussion, so once a agent has a buyer or seller that wants to deal with crypto, it always comes down to how there's not enough knowledgeable escrow companies out there. That's not the case with Pango Group, is it?
No, I would say not. We've been fortunate enough to kind of get into the space starting in 2017, and so I think we completed our first transaction in 2018, where we had a buyer using Bitcoin to purchase, a home. So there's kind of two ways that happens. Actually, there's only one way. There's a second way that we're working on making happen. But really what we try to do is we try to facilitate, if you have a buyer that's interested in using their crypto assets to purchase like real property, we work with a third-party vendor called BitPay to help them convert that digital asset cryptocurrency into US dollars. And so there's a lot of regulatory issues as it relates to doing a crypto to crypto deal. But we've successfully facilitated a number of crypto to cash deals. And that is where, you have a buyer that's interested in using their crypto asset and purchasing a home, and we help them convert that Bitcoin or any of the approved cryptocurrencies. I think there are like 7 now. And if you asked me to name them all, I couldn't do it, but it used to be just Bitcoin. Into US dollars, and US dollars is what we're allowed to hold as an escrow company. So if you're a neutral third party, you put money into a trust account. And so we help convert the earnest money deposit and then the cash to close. And it operates very, very similar to a cash transaction. If you're coming with all cash, you're just using a digital currency instead of US dollars, and you have a conversion mechanism for that.
And for you agents out there that have any prospective buyer or seller interested in crypto, reach out to Propy or reach out to either of our guests, Travis or Joe, and they'll help you as well. We fully support them any way we can to expand your marketplace. And I do know, and there's a couple cases where some of our escrow partners have acted as sub-escrow to escrows in other states to help them work through the process so we can expand as an industry and be able to tackle this. But Joe, your one of your crypto deals this week wasn't for a straight purchase. It was for a refi. Tell us a little bit.
It's the first one that I know of. Yeah, it's the first one I know of. We had a lender, and it would be like a private money lender or a hard money lender. And we had somebody that needed to refinance their property, and they found somebody that was willing to lend them, but instead of US dollars, they said, hey, I have lots of assets in crypto. Like, can I lend, this person and help them refinance their property with cryptocurrency? In this case, it was Bitcoin. And we helped them kind of like facilitate. They converted the Bitcoin into US dollars. They paid off the lender, and then the lender carried a note in US dollars to the borrower. And so it was the first time that I've seen somebody using assets directly in escrow. There are lots of, I think, different other companies that'll do crypto-based lending based on assets, but this was a direct conversion from Bitcoin into US dollars to pay off a loan, and then carry a note based on that. So it was pretty cool.
And once again,
took some work, but it got done.
it opens up another avenue within the market. And for you agents out there, Propy does have on its website information about a crypto certified agent course. I encourage you to go visit at propy.com, propy.com. And let's move over to Rise Realty a little bit here, Travis. And what's going on? Explain, as an online brokerage, you're able to grow. How do you go about selecting your partnerships for affiliated services, and how much does the broker play in your business model, suggesting to the agents or helping the agents understand how valuable such partnerships and affiliated services can be?
Well, obviously reputation is always, going to be at the top of the list. In what I look for in partnerships, I've actually worked with Glen Oaks Escrow for a number of years on a number of transactions. It's always gone well with them. So, they're the type of people that we like to partner with. And so I'd say, definitely reputation is number one. When I'm, trying to convey these to the agents of, vendors and things, services that they should use, I usually try and vet them first. I try and use them first to make sure that it's going to go well, and just explain the benefits of using that particular vendor or service. So obviously, the topic of crypto and such, obviously Glen Oaks is well-versed in this. And so I know where I need to go when I have that scenario rise, or when an agent comes to me and says, hey, can we do this with crypto? Can we use it for a down payment? Can we make a house purchase? So on and so forth. I know that I have, a partner that can get it done.
And that's the point of today's call, folks, because none of us want to turn down any referral or business that happens to come our way. We fight hard for those leads, and we want to take care of clients. So if you have a client that has any question about crypto or blockchain, this is your path to get your answers. And now, what do you see on as far as where the future looks like as the market? It looks like it's changing. I think Inman had an article that we should be seeing a little more inventory coming up in September. Travis, are you seeing that in Southern Cal?
I'm definitely seeing some more inventory. It's not a huge surge or anything to really write home about, but it is relieving some pressure on some buyers as far as being able to get their offers accepted. And being an online brokerage, we're in multiple markets. So that's actually kind of really great, because I can see, in some areas, like some of the coastal areas, there's not a lot of change, but you go inland and you're definitely starting to see the inventory tick up, and it could just be city by city. So I'm definitely seeing a little bit of relief on the horizon for home buyers.
And then what does your brokerage do for referral revenue model?
Referral revenue model, as far as working with outside agents or outside services.
And I'd like if you could share a little bit about both, especially since there's a lot of different services, and we do want to talk a little bit about affiliated services, title, and escrow. But I see a lot more affiliated services with home warranty and with other services coming into play where the agent really is crucial in making recommendations.
Yeah. So that's something we're still putting into play a lot. I've actually talked to Joe in the past about JV agreements and so forth. And, they have a great model for that. It's something that we're still looking into. And it's a direction that we are headed. But again, it boils down to, how well the service provider can perform for our agents when we put those agreements together.
All right, and for the folks joining us today, we have five or so more minutes here on today's episode, and Gwyneth Iredale, Propy Senior Customer Success Manager, will give you an overview demo of Propy's platform, which goes from offer all the way to the close of title and deed, including utilizing smart contracts on the blockchain to record your transaction history and provide you with the system of record. Joe, do you see any major trends happening with title and escrow? And how's the Q3 and 4 look from the escrow perspective?
That's a great question. So I'd say that the emerging trends in title and escrow right now is really focused around partnerships. And so I think that there are a lot of people that are interested in getting into the settlement business, more so than ever before. And so I would say, one, I think that there are a lot of brokers looking to kind of like monetize some of the referral relationships they have. And to do that, JVs are the kind of like the best and most RESPA compliant ways to do it. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that'll remunerate folks in ways that are not necessarily RESPA compliant. So I would say just be aware of that as you're looking at those. But I think, in escrow right now, I think one of the biggest kind of things that we're seeing, especially with how hot the market is that when you get and are able to do work up front, meaning before a contract is actually signed. So let's call them pre-escrow services. We're seeing like contingency dates, being 9 days or just some crazy amount just because of the demand in the market. The ability to move quickly as a buyer is really important. And so, with escrow, the amount of work that you can do up front or in advance in a transaction, the more prepared you can be to make sure that it closes smoothly. And I think that that's one of the things that I've been seeing more of in the last 12 months that I've seen in the last 15 years is what can we do in advance to make sure, that you have the right city reports ordered because of the volume of deals, cities are backed up and they're not getting them out in time. Or getting HOA docs ordered up front even before escrow opens. Things like that, like running a preliminary title report and making sure you're doing like a 5 or a 6 point inspection so that you can kind of like proactively solve issues that or that can historically come up later on in the transactions that can delay things. Because if you can delay things and you have 6 or 7 backup offers, you want to put your buyer in the best position. So I think one of the trends that I've seen, to answer your question, Joe, is the amount of work that we're trying to do in advance of actually getting a contract has been more and more than it has ever before. And I think that's putting kind of buyers agents, sellers agents in a better position to close smoothly instead of like falling out. And what we've seen is in the last 90 days, we've had a higher close ratio than we've had historically. We're running like an 87% close ratio. So the number of deals that open, 87% are closing. Historically, that's about 75%. So we're a lot higher on the close ratio right now. And I think part of that is because of some of the work that we're working with buyers agents to do up front and get those things done. The third and the fourth quarter, your guess is as good as mine. I don't see the demand really falling. And so I think it's going to be an inventory story. Money's cheap. I think that there's a demand. We're really heavily California focused. Everybody's talking about everybody moving out of California. But if you look at the number of transactions that are happening, you wouldn't actually see that happening. Like I don't have a lot of, that's not driving the market. So I think that we're going to have a strong third and fourth quarter.
And for the rest of the country, the latest numbers I saw in California, especially even for San Francisco, where people say that was the big exodus. A lot of the companies are having their employees come back to work. So that may change things. And even there, more than 80% of the moves in California were within California, not outside. It's just California has
we're seeing the same thing.
California just has a lot of people.
For sure.
And Travis knows, because if you ever drive down the freeway by where Travis lives on a Saturday and Sunday, it'll take you 2 hours to go 15 miles.
Yeah. Getting out of North County is always a challenge.
Yeah.
All right. And Joe, one final thought for Pango Group. With all of the advances and enhancements that Pango has made to speed up the process, how much of that was streamlining and utilizing more online rather than the old in-person?
Oh, great question. Oh, so there's been two things that I think have helped. We have a great software partner in Qualia, and so we have a really tech-forward digital platform where we can do 99% of the work that we do digitally, including signing a lot of documents. I mean, everybody's familiar with DocuSign and e-signing, but there are a lot of innovations made with like client portals where they can get access to information really, really securely, even more secure than kind of like your traditional email communications that can get hacked. So I think that's a big trend that's happening, and I think it's a benefit for consumers. It's a little bit of a behavior change because you may be having to log into something to get information versus just getting it on your Hotmail. But as we've all seen, especially with some recent things that have come out with like CloudStar getting ransomware in the title industry, like security is really, really, really important. And it's becoming even more important, and a lot of the spoofers are getting it. And so I think that's from a technology standpoint, I think that's a thing that is really, really working in our favor. And I think a lot of companies are going to be following suit. There's already companies that are doing it. The second thing is with COVID and not having clients in offices, like we've become really, really accustomed to remote signing. And so office space is required in our business because we have to have a licensed location. But I think that we're seeing less clients come into offices. And so that whole notion of like, I have to have my escrow company right next door to my brokerage, has kind of been debunked because people haven't been allowed to go in. And so we've kind of managed this last 12, 16, 17 months without a lot of clients coming into the office. And I look at our customer service scores, if you look at stars, and we've seen them rise because we'll really be able to go out to people, explain what's going on, use some, mobile notary services, and really just if we're in proactive communication with them, we can get that job done satisfactorily with a lot of convenience for the buyer and the seller.
And the real gauge, folks, is consumer experience and satisfaction. That really is what drives the referral business, our partnerships, and our branding. Travis, being an online brokerage, most of your operations, and you've been doing it quite some time, has been online by nature.
Yep.
Any significant changes coming up or enhancements? Any improvements in customer satisfaction? Examples you want to share with us?
Well, we're always trying to improve, right?
Yeah.
So, and through COVID, we actually didn't skip a beat because we were already operating like this, online. So
yeah, I love it.
It was really a pretty easy. There wasn't even really a transition for our agents aside from new rules and documents and things like that. But bringing Propy on as one of our platforms was we did it because of the consumer experience and because of some of the other offerings with Propy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're getting
Well,
near
I'll
the
comment.
end. Go ahead,
Joe,
Joe.
I just want to comment. I think I love that Travis has been kind of like an online brokerage. I think he's super forward thinking in that, and I think that just this last 18 months has kind of proven out his business model, because he gets to, traditional brokerages that have like 800 office locations and have all this overhead have to pay for that. And what Travis gets to do is he gets to invest that in his client experience, which is awesome. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big trend that I think Travis has been ahead of, versus a lot of the traditional brokerages.
Yeah,
so
I wanted to call it out.
Travis real well with us.
Rise Realty is growing based off its brand, and they started as an online. And for all the agents and broker owners out there that had nightmares when COVID hit, Travis looks the same as he did 24 months ago.
Yeah.
So
super cool.
You want to look at varying business models and tech stacks that kept him calm and growing, while a lot of others were frantically trying to reorganize and reoperate, I should say.
Yeah, we just focused on, what the rules were going to be region to region. And, it was a lot easier to do that and to, keep the agents up to date, because we weren't worrying about, office procedures and different things like that. So,
hey, and happy agents means a happy broker owner.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Well, Travis, I want to thank you very much. Joe, thank you very much. And for the record, Propy does have an integration with Pango Group on the Escrow to help streamline as Propy continues its platform. And look out next week for our banking integrations. We are going to switch over next week, and we're going to start talking about Florida markets. And our guest next week, we'll talk about a Florida update and some trends going on. It'll be Trevor Pushkar with Berkshire Hathaway and Florida Properties Group. He'll be our guest on the 28th of July. And for those that would like to stay on, Gwyneth Iredale will show you a quick overview of the Propy platform. But first, I want to give a chance for final words from both Travis and Joe. Travis?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me on. I'm really enjoying the platform. I think it's, got a lot of innovation in it that some of the other platforms are not offering, or I don't even know if they're thinking about some of the stuff that you guys are doing. And, being able to handle the crypto side, I think that we're, as a real estate industry, really going to start seeing that more and more and more. A lot of people have invested money in crypto, and I can see them definitely wanting to make purchases with that. So the easier we can make that for them, the better.
And if anybody has any other agents out there want pass on and set up referral partnership, Travis area is Carlsbad, Encinitas, Del Mar. I know it well. Travis will be my agent if I look to La Costa for my retirement home.
Yep, right down the street.
And Joe, how about you? Any final words?
No, I'm just grateful to be on. Love what Propy's doing. Love the kind of the tone that Travis is setting in the industry in terms of the online and digital. I think that the more that we can focus on buyer and seller experiences, the better off we're all going to be. And I think we can utilize technology to make those experiences better. Technology is a great tool, but we have to remember it's just a tool, and that human-to-human interaction is probably never going to go away from a real estate transaction. And so when we can combine both of those things, meaning leveraging technology to keep, secure, great communication, but also adding that personal touch, I think that makes for a winning combination. And we're excited to just kind of keep refining that part of our journey.
Well said. Well said. Again, Travis, Joe, thank you very much. This has been your weekly webinar hosted by Propy. And for those of you who would like to see a quick overview of Propy, it's a short 5-10 minute overview. And Gwyneth will direct you a little more information on the crypto certified agent course that Propy offers and where to book a demo. Thank you all, and thank you for joining this week's weekly webinar.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Gwen.
Thanks, Joe. See you
Thank
guys.
you. All right. Thank you.